What if I told you living comfortably on only $1,000 a month in these beautiful expat destinations is no longer possible? Inflation and a flood of nomads has made it hard to get by on only $1,000 a month if you don't want to eat street food every day. I'll break down budgets for apartments, entertainment, food, and everything else you need to know. Now, just a disclaimer, visas, insurance, health emergencies, these can eat your budget up quickly. So make sure you set aside money. Never try to get by on only $1,000 a month. Now, the first place on the list is probably the most popular digital nomad destination in the world, and this place is slowly pricing out locals and even some nomads. Towards the end of the lockdown in late 2021, I moved to Bali. I stayed in Canggu originally, and if you don't know, it's probably the most expensive town on the island, so I was spending a lot more than if I lived in Denpasar. I was getting by okay on $1,000 a month, but I did not have a lot of room for traveling often. As months went on, Canggu got very expensive. More people started coming in and developments grew. Now Bali has gotten quite expensive. $1,000 a month will be very hard if you stay around the expat hotspots. You could 100% make $1,000 work in Named or Chandidasa, but it's very isolated, so I'm not sure many expats would want to go there for long-term stays. It takes a special kind of person to blend in with local life and do a complete 180 of their lifestyle. I honestly think this kind of lifestyle can wear people out in the long term. Why is Bali just getting so expensive? I think a lot of it is because of the influx of travelers, as well as many companies building more villas, wanting to expand locations, build more beach clubs. It's turning very much into like a luxury island. It's like the Dubai of Southeast Asia. Honestly, I think Bali is a good place if you want to live a life of luxury for an affordable price. If you have $2,000 to $3,000 a month, you can live very, very nice compared to places like Dubai where it costs you a lot more. Now, if you do move to Bali, what would your budget look like? Since the pandemic, the cost of accommodation has exploded. You can get a small room and a cost, which is like a local boarding house, for about $300 to $400 a month. But this is very basic and small room. This is usually where locals stay. If you want something Western, a homestay, then expect to pay around $500 to $600 for long stays. In some cases, $700. Ideally, stay in a homestay. You can get a comfortable and nice clean room. Planning to stay in Bali for a few months, then homestays are a great option. I recommend going on local Facebook group. Go to the expat Canggu page community. Ask there directly. You can get in contact with agents. You can also go on Booking, Agoda, Airbnb, and look at the location for these places and go directly and talk to the staff there. Cut out Airbnb, Agoda, and get the price directly. You'll save a lot of money. Now for day-to-day expenses, expect to pay around $20 to $30 if you're eating out multiple meals, if you spend a lot of extra money on drinks like coffee, surfboard if you want to go surfing. Gyms there can be pretty expensive, around $80 to $100 or even more. Renting a scooter before was around $40 when I was there. Now it's around $60, $70 for a nice scooter. Budget around $50 to $70 for monthly rentals. $100 if you try to rent an NMAX or one of the bigger models. If you go out on weekends, the clubs like in Seminyak or go to the beach clubs in Uluwatu, you can easily spend up to $100. However, if you go to beach bars, small bars, you can spend around $20, $30 a night on beers. But alcohol can get expensive in Bali, especially the liquor. Beers are cheap, but mixed drinks are expensive, like in all of Asia. Overall, I think $1,000 in Bali, especially in Canggu, Uluwatu, is going to be hard. You have a lot of temptations for entertainment, so staying on your budget will be difficult. Now, imagine if you need to spend money on an emergency, or consider the visas that you have to pay for. For a B211A visa is about $150. I'm not sure if this is still the same price, but it might have changed, but about $150, and you can extend it up to 3 times. So that's what I did. I stayed about 6 months in Canggu and budget some money for the visa. And also good insurance, especially as a nomad or if you're retiring abroad. Good insurance can be expensive. Now, I know Bali isn't the only place in Indonesia. I actually have another video talking about a budget island that you can stay if you want something more quiet and more affordable than Bali. I definitely recommend checking that out if Bali is not your speed. Now, the next place on the list is a little bit more flexible. $1,000 can take you a bit further, depends on your lifestyle and where you choose to live. Now, many people say living on only $1,000 a month here is unrealistic. And the reason, expenses like health insurance, transportation, and dining out add up quickly. You'll need to be careful with your spending if you want to stay on budget here. And the place we are talking about is Thailand. Living frugally in Thailand in a smaller area on only $1,000 a month can be done. Many expats that move abroad usually don't want to go to a small village and live usually a much lower quality of life than they did back home. So they usually go to one of the bigger cities in Thailand. Now, a popular place in Thailand is Bangkok, and it's popular for a reason. It's a large metropolitan city, but $1,000 here is probably no longer possible. Around $1,000 a month may allow for an okay living situation. Maybe you can rent an apartment for like $500 to $600 a month, but that doesn't leave you a lot of room for visas, insurance, grocery, entertainment, and factor in transportation as well. So you won't have a lot of savings for additional expenses. If you are someone with a quiet lifestyle, maybe this can work for you. But living long-term on a low budget can often lead to struggles of loneliness or unhealthy eating, unhealthy habits like excessive alcohol consumption. So for a more comfortable lifestyle, aim for at least $1,500 a month in Bangkok. This budget supports a healthy diet, better living conditions, and more balanced quality of life. So is $1,000 enough to live in Thailand? In Bangkok, it'll probably be very hard. You probably have to make a lot of sacrifices, but of course this varies from person to person. In smaller cities like Chiang Mai, a lot easier. I think it's a lot more possible to live closer to $1,000. Luckily, Thailand is huge, so you have many options. But now, let's look at a popular American expat hub. This is where many Americans go when they want to retire or move somewhere more affordable near America. And it's also known for being pretty affordable. But is it still true? The country I'm talking about is Mexico. Can you still live comfortably in Mexico for just $1,000 a month? Well, like the rest of the world, inflation has hit Mexico pretty hard. But luckily, it has stabilized a bit over the last year or so. After some research, it seems like Mexico is not as affordable as some expats and nomads would like it to be. Your monthly budget will definitely depend on where you choose to live. With more and more expats flooding into Mexico, places like San Miguel de Allende, Monterrey, Cancun, Tulum, aka the popular expat destinations, are becoming much harder to live on only $1,000 a month. Even living a modest lifestyle will be pretty hard because rent is quite expensive in these places. Outside the city center in San Miguel de Allende, rent is around $700. Cancun is a little cheaper at $600. Now, if you choose to explore Mexico and live outside the popular expat destinations, then you can definitely live a lot more affordably, but just know that the popular expat destinations in Mexico are hard to live in for only $1,000 a month. For a single person living in Mexico, it can cost around $1,300 to $1,500 a month in one of the smaller towns. This budget would cover rent, groceries, utilities, and transportation. In more touristic areas like Mexico City or Puerto Vallarta, monthly costs can increase to between $1,800 and $2.2K a month, primarily due to higher rent and eating out. On average, groceries can cost about $300 a month. Utilities range from $50 to $120 a month for an apartment. Healthcare is pretty affordable. Doctor visits can cost as little as $3 to $35, depending on the service. For a comfortable lifestyle, I would say around $1,500 to $2,000, $2,000 to $2,500 a month if you live in the more popular areas of Mexico. Now, these prices may fluctuate a bit and your lifestyle, so this is just a broad range. You might want to do your own research on the cost of Mexico itself. So Mexico is a popular expat destination for a reason. Beautiful beaches and close enough to North America, so many expats love retiring here. But what if you don't live anywhere near Mexico? Well, pay attention, because there's this place in Europe that you definitely cannot live on only $1,000 a month. Eastern Europe is a popular and affordable region of Europe that many expats and nomads love to go. And it's no surprise, you have very affordable countries like Hungary and Poland. One of those countries in this region is the Czech Republic. It is a popular backpacker city. Many travelers and tourists go when they travel to Europe. Now, I could have gone with Hungary on this one, but I think Hungary is still pretty affordable. Also, Czech Republic is known for its jobs and many opportunities. And I also see online that many people call it as affordable options in Europe. And after some research, I found that $1,000 in the Czech Republic can be hard, especially if you choose to go to the popular Prague. Prague, which is the most well-known city in the Czech Republic. Based on latest data, rent for an apartment in the city center is around $1,000 US, and prices may reach up to $1,200 a month. For smaller apartments in less central areas, $700 to $800 a month. Utilities can go up to $300 a month, and the internet can cost about $20 a month. Now, if you choose to dine out, for simple restaurants, inexpensive restaurants, it can cost up to $9. And a McDonald's meal in Prague, we all love McDonald's, can cost about $8. So based on those numbers, I'd say $1,000 in Prague is not very feasible. Aim for around $2,000 a month if you want to live in the Czech Republic, specifically Prague. And I chose Prague because it's a lot easier to move to a more populated, bigger city where you're more likely to run to English speakers. Now, if you want to go further on a smaller budget, then you have Olomouc or Brno. I'm sorry for my pronunciation, it's very bad. So just to sum it up, if you go to Czech Republic, choose to live in Prague, the very well-known popular city, then $1,000 won't be doable. But if you go to smaller cities where you're probably going to run into less English and it's going to be a lot harder to adapt, in my opinion, then $1,000 might be doable. Compared to other countries, I still think Czech Republic is pretty affordable compared to France, Belgium. So definitely don't count out Czech Republic. It's very beautiful. Prague is beautiful and it has many things to offer. Now, you probably get the point that inflation is hitting many countries that were formerly very budget friendly, and we've talked about Central America, Southeast Asia, Europe. Now let's go to South America, to another destination where $1,000 will be difficult, but it's a feasible option if you can be very, very frugal. Why is Argentina so popular? Is it the delicious food like empanadas, asados, beautiful landscapes? What is it about the vibrant culture and history that draws expats and retirees to this beautiful country? Now, many people choose Argentina as a destination to live in for short term and even long term. Now, for your budget, housing is one of the most significant monthly costs. Long-term apartments usually cost $300 to $600 in desirable neighborhoods. In less touristy areas, you can get rent for as low as $200. Avoiding Airbnb for long-term stays and finding agents directly will save you a bit of money on grocery shopping. Costs about $200 to $250 a month. You can also get pre-cooked meals, about $280 for 16 to 21 monthly cooked meals. Dining out at mid-tier restaurants can cost around $10 to $20. It is doable with that budget of $1,000, but it will increase food expenses significantly. Other expenses are affordable, like the gym, $20 to $30 a month. Transportation is about $20 for a public bus. Basic phone plan is $10 to $12. Now, entertainment depends largely on the individual, $100 to $200 monthly if you go out often or you go out to many outings, but you can definitely cut it down if you're a bit more quiet and don't need a lot of entertainment. Now, Buenos Aires is definitely not as expensive as some of these other places on the list. I think $1,000 here is not impossible. You're going to be living a pretty frugal life, but if you can find a good deal on an apartment, then you can live pretty good life here for $1,000. And it seems like the government there is doing a good job at controlling the inflation. But again, closer to $1,500 for a comfortable lifestyle is ideal. And learning Spanish can also help. So all the places on the list, you could live pretty comfortably on $1,000 a month about 10 years ago. But now, if you want something comfortable, I think closer to $1,500, a lot more realistic. I think most Westerners would move away from America or Europe to live a very comfortable life. So if you have that budget, you can live a comfortable life. This gives you the freedom to save, enjoy yourself, and also have a little backup money for emergency expenses or visas.